Next, we will look at continuous time linear equalizer. A continuous time linear equalizer is typically implemented as a peaking filter, a pole zero filter that provides peaking in order to invert the response of the channel. Typically, one low frequency zero is followed by two or more poles to give the desired effect. The relative location of the zero and the first pole determine the frequency and the magnitude of peaking. The CTLE can be purely passive or combined with an amplifier to provide the necessary gain. CTLE block is the block which is first placed after the channel response before the DFE or the decision feedback equalization system. The input amplifier with RC degeneration can provide frequency peaking with gain at the Nyquist frequency. It is limited by the gain-quadratic product of the differential amplifier, and it is generally limited to a first order compensation. The design equations for the CTLE are follows. The GM by CL, which is the load capacitance effectively, or CD here, this ratio gives the DC gain of the system, and the transfer function S plus omega z by S plus omega P1 omega P2 give information regarding the two poles omega P1 and omega P2 as discussed here. If you observe, the RS and CS give rise to the zero in the frequency, whereas the RD and CD give rise to the output pole, which decides the cutoff range of the operation. The inner omega P1 is given by RSCS, but it also has a factor independently in the R. So these components RS and CS contribute to the zero and the pole present in this range and allow what is the amount of DC gain to the slope of the output that can be maintained. The DC gain tuning is done using the degeneration resistor and capacitor. You can tune the degeneration resistor and capacitor to adjust the zero frequency and the first pole which sets the peaking and the DC gain. Increasing CS moves the zero and the first pole to a lower frequency without impacting the peaking, while increasing the RS moves the zero to a lower frequency and lowers the DC gain too. CD and RD set the gain bandwidth product of the CTLE, which is the output relationship of here. To enhance the bandwidth of the CTLE, initially you use inductive peaking to get the bandwidth expansion. Since the inductors are larger in size and occupy more space in silicon, a CTLE with an active inductor is proposed. This active inductor has got a similar structure as shown in the previous slides. So the proposed modification for the CTLE is given as follows. For the 20 Gbps operation, you have the RS and CS combined here as a switch bank. The capacitor, the switching capacitance of the switch is taken in consideration as the additionally C of the transistor. The RD1, RD0 on both sides take care of the RD bank that is present. The degeneration capacitance is added along with additional stages to provide further gain on each sides. This kind of a CTLE modification was necessitated for a 20 Gbps because the amount of attenuation present in the signal was very large. Close to 30 dB of attenuation was observed, which we will share in the later slides, and the recovery for that kind of a loss had to be done. So it could not be done by a single stage of the amplifier. So multiple stages of cross-coupled amplifiers were used to provide different gain factors and reduce the channel attenuation and give the gain compensation to the output. So here it shows the layout of the device. So the active inductors are placed on the top in yellow. The first stage and second stage along with the tuning capacitors are given here. The first stage and second stage are with respect to the cross-coupled gain stages which was observed in the previous slide, where the CS1 and CS2 transistors can be taken as in the tuning capacitors present bank here. The tuning resistor bank for the RS0 and RS1 are placed at this end of the close to the first stage. As mentioned, the channel loss at 10 gigahertz was observed to be close to minus 30 dB, 29.84, and after adding the CTLE, the channel compensation, we observed simulation that close to 18 dB was recovered, and the loss right now was present at about 11 dB. So an 18 dB of boost was given. The values which are observed are at TP1, that is after the channel, in the blue curve, and at TP2 it is observed in the yellow curve on the next side. Each of this channel where the data was sent using a PRBS7 signal generation based sequence through the channel and at the RTS where there is a 50 ohm termination present before the CTLE. We observed that there is a DC gain tuning spread of up to 2.5 dB, and the peaking gain was between 3 dB to 7 dB for between the 10 and 20 gigahertz ranges. The tuning knobs used for these were the RS and CS. To tune the bandwidth, we found that the peaking gain we were able to move it from 5.5 dB to 9.5 dB at 10 gigahertz. And the tuning knob for this would be the RD variation. So if you would like to build an adaptive CTLE, a closed loop feedback control acting with RS, CS and RD as inputs can work, and this can be a very nice research topic for the students who are listening to this work. To show the importance of the CTLE, we would like to highlight the critical signal recovery in the system. As the signal passes through, the high frequency signal will be the smallest portion in the block after the CTLE, before the CTLE, after the channel. This signal was multiplied by the 18 dB gain that is provided from the CTLE, and you can see this block getting its signal amplitude higher. So when we are able to recover a critical signal, this allows the amount of data that can be captured, and this also further reduces the bit error rate in the system. Bit error rate is a measure of what is the quality of the system with regards to the channel and what is the amount of signal recovery that can happen for the data. The eye diagram for the 20 Gbps is as shown. On the left hand side shows the input to the CTLE, where if you can observe, the amount of signal is very small. As shown in the previous slide, the critical signal recovery is probably located here with such a small eye opening or almost not invisible eye opening. In the current condition, the CTLE helps to provide a larger eye opening with which the signal can be clearly distinguished, and some amount of gain compensation can be provided, and some amount of intersymbol interference effects could also be reduced. The primary role of the CTLE is to provide gain and make the eye opening bigger to support the following blocks of a decision feedback equalizer and the samplers for the deserializer. In summary, the takeaway are high-speed serial links are essential circuits for data transport in chip-to-chip communication. Achieving higher data rates on a single link of copper challenges a channel. Active inductors are great silicon space saving circuits. Serial links are cost effective and save on packaging costs. High-speed serial links are great research topics and very much relevant to the industry currently. Thank you for your time. I kindly request you to give your feedback, and the link for the feedback is given as follows. For the people who are technology savvy, kindly use the QR code from your mobile phones or your mobile devices to directly reach the page. If there are any questions, you can please post them in the chat window or in the comment section below, and we will respond to them. References, major references would be the lecture notes of Professor G.Y. Wei from Harvard University, Professor Sam Palermo from Texas A&M, and the textbook by Professor Behzad Razavi called Design of Analog CMOS Integrated Circuits from the UCLA. For all the people who would like to get in touch with me, you can get in touch at the links given below, or the email is provided in the title slide, which you can refer again. Thank you for the wonderful time, and thank you for your time. Hope your learning continues and you keep good. In this time of COVID, stay home and stay safe. Thank you.